You are listening to the Real Estate Growth Hackers Show.
Welcome to the Real Estate Growth Hackers live show. My name is Zach Hammer. Today for you, I have Jason Abrams. Now, a little bit about Jason. Jason has been called the Jerry Maguire of Real Estate by the New York Times. He's assisted more professional athletes in their relocation than anyone in the U.S. He's sold homes on 3 continents in 2015. He has sold a prominent movie director's estate in London, a top-rated DJ in Hollywood Hills mansion, a Fortune 100 CEO's beach home in the Hamptons, and he did that all in the past year. So really excited to have Jason on. Let's go ahead and bring him in. Let me get my mouse over here. All right, and he should be in 1 second. Let's see. Jason, do I have you?
You got me.
Awesome. Let me go ahead and show names so everybody knows who we are. Jason, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Real Estate Growth Hackers live show. Excited to have you on here. So, where are you coming in from today? Where are you located right now?
I'm in Detroit, Michigan today, but we run operations in Phoenix, in the Scottsdale area, in Las Vegas, in Portland. So we get around, my friend.
Good call. Good call. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive right in. I know you're a busy man. Let's dive into the content and take this where it will go. So Jason, one of the things that I always like to start with, one of the things that I like to ask people who have a solid business, who have good results in the real estate industry is where did you start? How did you get started in real estate, and what got you into the industry?
I'll tell you, but I want to come full circle on something.
Okay, cool.
Exactly, businesses that we have and all the things that we've done.
Awesome.
I don't want realtors out there under the idea that that's all we do, because I want to be really clear. If everyone were to run out tomorrow and try to make a business built on celebrities, they would have a difficult time doing it. So
absolutely.
If we sell, 50, 60 homes a year to athletes, we sell 350 to 400 homes to regular people. So just to be clear, we make far more of our money selling homes to regular folks than we do to celebrities.
Awesome.
That said, I started in the real estate business just like everybody else. I graduated with high school with a 1.8 GPA and couldn't get into college. And what do? You either go to work at a grocery store or a real estate office. They both pretty much had the same training and the exact same amount of time you had to sit in a classroom. I think in Michigan at that time, it took 5 days to get a license to legally help people buy and sell not only homes, but commercial real estate and vacant land. And I found that shocking. And thank God, though, because it's been a great ride.
Awesome. Yeah, it's so, we see a lot of similarities, a lot of people coming into real estate. One of the things that attracts them is how readily you can get into it.
When you consider that we have the lowest barriers to entry of other any industry that there is, and we now have, due to technology and the advances, unlimited earning potential. I think that's why you're starting to see so many places that have shunned residential real estate really open their eyes. As we sit here today, Baylor has a residential real estate program. Harvard is working on a residential real estate program. And so many realtors out there think that gosh, if I just had become a doctor, if I'd become an attorney, I got to tell you, it's like standing in a diamond mine and looking out over the desert and saying, I wish I was out there.
Right.
This is kind of where it's at. We're at the top of the sales food chain with the highest commission splits there are of any of the sales industry. And we sell the only product that someone else pays for other than the end user. And then they just get paid back over 30 years. It's an ultimate dream for a salesman.
Yeah, absolutely. The real estate industry has so much potential for people to make a great deal of money, working with some really cool people, helping them with some really interesting problems, getting into a home, all that kind of stuff. It's such a ripe opportunity for helping people with a really complicated thing that can go on in their lives, and you get paid well for it, which is, wonderful.
You get paid great for it. And the truth of it is we're not really in sales. I think there's the massive misnomer that real estate agents are salespeople. But when I think about sales, I think I've never really convinced a person who wants a beautiful home to buy an ugly one. That would be selling.
Right.
Really do that. I like to think of us more as kind of tour guides. When you know someone who goes on a European vacation and they come back and you say, well, how was the trip? And they go on and on. It's about the tour guide if they had a transformative one. I think that's more what residential real estate is than, say, shoe sales. And by the way, I've done those also. Not a gig I recommend.
Good call. And yeah, it really is. It's so important that distinction to understand it really isn't traditional sales, right? It's very much you're finding out people's needs, their goals, their desires, and then you're connecting them to the things that fit that already existing idea, right? And the best way to get them there.
Oh, we're the architects of modern society. I mean, the truth of it is that the play that is people's lives is done on the backdrop that the real estate agent provides. We kind of make cool as we go. Without us, there's no granite countertops or stainless steel appliances. We made that cool. And there's 1.6 million of us out there running around deciding what the next latest trend is. Right. There is no sporting event. There's no play. There's no concert. There's nothing without a venue. It's the ultimate backstage pass. Consider that people will spend their greatest moments and their saddest moments in the homes that we provide. If that doesn't speak to you, you're missing the boat on this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a cool time, especially like you mentioned with where technology has come to enable some of this process to help people make those connections and help people in that process. Not only are you already working with such a valuable product, but you have so many things at your disposal to make this work and make this successful today.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think there was this prevalent idea that technology and mankind were going to have like a war, like in Terminator 2. And I don't think that's what's happening. I think we're more so having a marriage, and the virtual world and the physical world are coming together, and they're intertwining in all these different ways. I don't think that technology will ever replace real estate agents. Right. I do think, though, that real estate agents that embrace technology are going to replace those that don't. And Absolutely. So today, the challenge has changed for realtors. It used to be, let's go find people that want to buy and sell real estate. That was the challenge. Right. We know now that, I mean, this year alone, 99 million people are going to search unique visitors on Zillow to look for houses. Right. So the question isn't, how do you find the 99 million people? The question is, of that, we know in these United States, we only sell 6 million houses a year in a good year. So now we have to use technology to weed through the 94 million people we don't need to be talking to. Well, I got to tell you, if you're a realtor and you're planning on doing that with a pen and paper or a shoebox method, I think you're in for a really difficult run.
Absolutely. Because I mean, that really is, that's what the game becomes, right? It's not so much just about finding the people, it's about finding the right people. Well, and we're finding them now earlier than ever before. I mean, you know, the reason people, they buy internet leads or they buy Zillow leads or they buy these things and then they say, well, the leads are no good. And I simply submit to you that you're just catching people so early in the process. That's the difference. In today's modern real estate world, winning feels like losing because you don't know that you win for 18 months after they get in your database. Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a whole change. And that's, by the way, when I got into the real estate business, we're talking about almost 19 years ago. Right. And I remember the concept of making $100,000. Like I couldn't fathom that. Like I couldn't wrap my head around it. And then I met a guy who had done $500,000 in GCI. And by met, I mean I sat in an audience and watched him on a stage. And I was thinking, wait a second. You mean to tell me you made $500,000 selling houses? I was coming out of Detroit. Average sales price was like $6,400. And I was like, you made $500,000. And I sat there and now I think, you know, I crossed somewhere around the $3 million GCI mark or something with our team last year. And I was thinking to myself, like, it just hasn't been that long. Right. I mean, the changes that we're talking about, 19 years ago, there was no MLS in my marketplace. The MLS consisted of a little old lady that would come by the office every Friday and hand deliver the pages with blue photos of the houses. And now you look up and the industry doesn't resemble anything like that. Right. But I think an important distinction to make is that there's really nothing new with the core way we do business. Like, we still know that people buy and sell real estate for the exact same reasons they did 70 years ago. It's a life event. They either, you know, you get a job, you lose a job, you get a wife, you lose a wife. It happens, my friend. You get rich, you get poor. And these life events lead to buying and selling real estate. And it's the same scripts that move people faster into action with us than without us than it was 70 years ago. And it's the exact same emotional response to real estate they like and that they don't like as it was 70 years ago. So the only difference is everything the same, married with this technological component, has enabled teams and mega agents to do more business and make more money than anybody ever fathomed. What's cool about it is that we're in the infant stage of that. Right. You know,
I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, the Industrial Revolution wasn't that big of a deal. It really wasn't. You took unskilled labor from the farm and put unskilled labor into a factory, and they wanted to call that revolutionary. What's going on right now in the real estate industry with technology, where entire swaths of the U.S. and world economy and workforce might not be needed because of automation? Right. I mean, my God, man.
It's interesting for sure. Yeah.
We're living in this time, and I think a lot of real estate agents are taking it for granted, but we're living in the golden age of residential real estate.
Absolutely.
It might sound corny, but like the median sales price is higher than it's ever been before. Realtors are making more money than they've ever made before. More technology is in our hands than ever before. But after you give enough evers, you have to look up and say, I'm living in this magical time and I'm taking it for granted. And what am I going to do differently tomorrow?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, to your point, one of the things that you had mentioned before was we will always have a place, I think, for the real estate agent, but there may be fewer real estate agents for the sake of those agents that learn how to capitalize on these trends, learn how to capitalize on this technology and the abilities that they have are the ones that are going to succeed. So, if anybody is sitting here thinking like, hey, am I missing the opportunity? Well, if you're not doing the deals, if you're not getting it done, if you're not finding the ways to leverage yourself, that you might be missing the opportunity right now.
Well, it's kind of like it's a dead man walking scenario, because let me give you something to think about. If you're not running a business that's capturing people that want to buy and sell real estate in the next 18 to 24 months, here's what's going to happen. The teams and the people that are building databases that are hundreds of thousands of potential consumers wide. Now, I say potential consumers because who really knows at the end of the day?
Right.
But if you're not, and more people are, there comes this point in the curve where all of a sudden, all the good ones are taken. Now, we all know what that feels like at a high school dance or at 2 a.m. at a bar. You don't want to be in that position.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so important to have not only that long-term view, knowing, hey, I'm not looking to spend a bit of money on Facebook and immediately find those buyers, those sellers that are going to pop right now. But know that you're creating those relationships, you're creating those connections that are ultimately going to turn into business. For you right now, leading into this, what are some of the strategies that you're finding are working well for your team to make that connection, to make those bridges, to start 18 months before they're ready to do the transaction?
Well, I kind of look at it two different ways, right? You're either running a practice or a business.
Right.
And I don't take anything away from either. I think that it's pervasive in our industry right now to award the big teams and award the big businesses. My team and I were nominated for Inman's Innovator of the Year this year for the team. Right. And I look up at the people that they nominated, and I take my hat off to the person that won. But I got to tell you, you didn't see any sole proprietors being talked about at Inman this year. And I want to take a minute and talk directly to those people, because I know you have a lot of viewers that are sole practitioners.
Right.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with growing a practice. Like, if I was to say to you right now, give me your first reactions of Taylor Swift and the business that she's created, you wouldn't tell me she's a loser. You wouldn't say it. But she don't practice. If she doesn't show up and get on stage, there's no money. Tom Cruise, the guy, if he doesn't show up to make movies, these are practices. There is nothing wrong with owning a practice. Right. Then you have people that want to build businesses, and businesses are the kind of thing where it doesn't matter if you show up or not. I make no distinction between the quality of either. I do think you need to first make the decision of which one you're going to own.
Right.
And I would build the businesses a different way. And so if I'm building a practice, the way that I built the athlete practice was to go after sphere of influence hard. Now, when I think of sphere of influence, I don't think somebody that I can go have coffee with. My definition of a real sphere of influence is I believe that there are buyers and sellers, and then there are realtors, and there's space in between. That space in between is filled by any such person within any community. So in Detroit, that person's the barber. Like, the barber in Detroit knows everything. You're like, hey, who did this, who did that? And they're like, that guy. They know.
Right.
I wanted to do business with rich people, and I didn't know any. And it turns out that rich people have a few things in common. They have accountants, they have financial advisors, and they have lawyers.
Right.
Those are the people. Consider this. Consider that the average divorce attorney in this country will do 10 divorces a month. I mean, 56% of all marriages end that way. 10 divorces a month mean 10 marital homes that have to sell, plus both X and X either need to buy or rent, which means the average divorce attorney is connected to 30 transactions. We're talking about 360 deals a year. Now, I ask you, my friend, if you could get 20% of that and take down a quick 72 transactions, is the problem what kind of car to buy or what color Porsche to get? That's where we're at here.
Yeah, and that's such a fantastic way to look at the networking aspect, right? Don't try and network necessarily with the end deal. Network with the people who already know where those end deals are, right?
Well, that's the thing. Like if you're a sole practitioner and you're going to go out and you're going to compete with the mega teams, let me just tell you, we're calling expireds, we're calling FSBOs, we're circle prospecting, and we're knocking on doors. I wouldn't do that if I was a sole practitioner. I see no reason to play. I got news. You want to win games in sports, play against younger and inexperienced competition. I'm a Jewish guy. I'm 5'10", not the most athletic, but I dominate 7th grade soccer.
Right.
I'm faster. It's man strength. They don't know what to do. That's what I think you need to be looking for, that low-lying fruit. So
right.
You want to go knock on the door, find one expired. I don't take anything away from that. I think that that's great. You want to go make friends with one attorney who's connected to 360 deals a year. At my peak in the athlete business, I had 6 people in my database. Now, they were the number 1 and 2 sports agents in the world. And I mean, I had some really good people, but I didn't know any of them. It wasn't like I inherited the business. I literally went out and said to myself, who are the people that I need to know if I want to break into this industry? And for me, it came down to financial advisors, it came down to attorneys, and it came down to accountants. And in your town, USA, right now, there's a ton of those people. So what keeps you from picking up the phone, though, is this idea that they probably already have somebody that they do business with, or not knowing what to say. And I think that that's really easily overcome. I think the truth of it is they all have a guy, but very few of them have a friend. So I think you need to find communities in which you excel in. Do you golf? Do you golf?
I don't personally.
Okay. Well, I do, right? I don't know if you can call what I do golf, but I like to go out. I like to put on white pants, a yellow belt. I look really masculine. That's right. And when I'm getting ready to do it, I feel good. I feel good. I'm going to be out. I have a beautiful wife and a beautiful child, but I'm going to be away from them. Nothing wrong with that. It's going to be 5 hours. Imagine if you started inviting people to go do the things that make you feel good.
Right.
If you could be the best part of somebody's week, it doesn't matter how many guys they have. They do business with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's such a key shift that most people miss, right? Like if you're going to build your business, just like you mentioned, as a practice, it's not about all the sales tactics and techniques. It's about building those relationships, and you build relationships the same way that you build relationships, right? Like you get out, you share your time with people, you do things that you enjoy. It's honestly not that hard. People, I think, want to make it a lot harder for themselves than it is.
Well, I take some of the blame off of them. I think the reason why we make it harder than it is because we've been hardwired not to do it. Like I have a 4-year-old son. And I tell this story all the time. I saw him in Toys R Us, and he was talking. I had wandered away, and he was talking to a guy, and I ran over, and I grabbed the kid, and I looked at the guy, and he was bigger than me, so I avoided confrontation and ran in the other direction. But when I got alone with the kid, I said to him, don't talk to strangers. Don't do it, okay?
Right.
Dangerous. Talk to people you don't know. And he looked at me with these big eyes, and he started to cry, and then I gave him a hug. And I was laying in bed that night, and I was thinking, one day he's going to go away to college, and 7 years later he's going to get an undergrad degree, and he's going to come home and he's going to say, Dad, I'd like to come work at the family business. And I'm going to say, great. You better talk to 40 strangers a day. And he's going to look at me, and it will have been my fault. And I think that that's the problem. I think
Absolutely.
We're hardwired not to do it. And you talk about lead generation, and we've also created lead generation platforms that we hate. When I talk to people and I say, so what do you do every morning from 9 to 11? The ones that lead generate, and they say, well, I cold call, I do this. And I say, well, do you like it? And they say no. And I don't understand that, because life, I think, is not about how quickly can I get to a destination that I never arrive at.
Right.
Is what it's all about. So you ask me, Jason, what do you enjoy doing look, I like going on long lunches. I like drinking wine while I do it. I like a cigar. I like to shoot guns. I like to go to a concert every now and then. These are the things that I'm going to do.
Right.
I would tell you, figure out what it is that you want to do, and then invite strangers to do it with you that enjoy it also. And what you'll find is that when you feed their soul with your activity, the real estate part of it just takes care of itself.
And that's so powerful too, because you're exactly right. And one of the things in marketing, especially, everybody's talking about, how do you be uniquely positioned? How do you be, what's your unique selling proposition? And everybody takes it as a like a bigger, this is the very unique thing I do as a business. But the reality is, if you're building a networking style business like you're talking about, you have your unique interests. You are a unique person, and that becomes your unique selling proposition.
100%. I mean, think if you can use anything use tennis. If I said to you, if you were independently wealthy, what would you be doing? And you said, Jason, I'd be playing tennis. Well, I'll tell you what, you better start playing every Wednesday from 11 to 1 o'clock, because poor people don't do that, it turns out.
Right.
You're going to be playing with people that have a little bit of money. You better be doing it with at least 7 strangers. So you're the 8th. And you send an email before you go play. This is who's playing who. You send the email about what public courts we're going to. You pass out the balls. You bring the orange slices like it's 5th grade. Everyone's going to laugh when you do that. Play tennis, enjoy it. Afterwards, send out an email about how great it was, what the highlights was, and what time we're playing next week. That will grow. And if you let them leave their office to come be part of your favorite part of the weekend at theirs, you'll never have to ask them for a referral, because at some point you'll just say, you know what? You know anyone buying or selling? You won't have to. They're going to say to you, so, you know, my friend is thinking of selling.
Right.
You can do that with everything. If you love shopping, if that's what you want to do, you better be at the mall with a group of shoppers at 10 o'clock, meet at the Starbucks, everyone have coffee, talk about what it is you're going to go buy, everybody disperse, come back an hour later, show off what you got.
Absolutely.
That's a community. And there's one in every niche in life. There's one for horseback riders. There's one for yoga. There's ones for jogging. There's ones for wine tasting. There's ones for food. What do you want to be? If I guarantee you, unless you're a really wacky fetishist, there's a good community of people out there that want to do what you want to do. Go bring them together, and you be the one that proctors it. And they will look at you as someone they want to move closer to, and you won't have to beg for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh man, that's so powerful. I like, that's one of those major light bulb moments that, like, sometimes when you're looking at things like this, you've seen the times where maybe some of the viewers listening have seen this too, where you hear something and you're like, you know what, I've seen that. Like, I've seen that, like I've done that. And yeah, I've gotten a lot of deals out of that. Why am I not doing this intentionally? Why am I not doing it specific with it? Yeah, exactly.
The reason you're not, it's because there's not a single brokerage house in the world, including the one that I'm affiliated with, that thinks that that's legitimate.
Right.
Because I'm not counting the number of contacts I'm making. I'm counting the number of minutes I'm enjoying my life.
Right.
And you start keeping track of that, it becomes limitless.
Oh man, that's super powerful. We actually, real quick, we had a question come in from Donald that I think that's really relevant to this, and I may already know your answer, but I'd love to hear your take on it. So Donald said, "How do you incentivize your network if you do?" So on this topic,
I don't incentivize the network. I believe that the network is there because we're enjoying the association. I'm working really hard to become friends with the people that are in it. I think that does it itself. The few times that I want to go out of my way to incentivize somebody, I do it through experience, not through capital. So I can think about, I had a financial advisor who was born in New York, and he had lived there through college, and he had moved to LA, and he became really big. And we used to talk about his time in New York, and it was the single greatest experience I ever provided somebody. I got on a plane from Detroit at 6 a.m. I flew to New York. I took a cab to the Peanut Butter and Jelly Company in Greenwich. I got him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, 2 carrot sticks, and a celery stick, and then flew to California and brought it to him. I got there at 2 o'clock their time, walked in with a brown bag, and put it on his desk. And I never had to ask for a referral again.
I love it. Oh man. Seriously, I think this is one of those things that most of the people listening, I think most of the people listening may have a hard time believing exactly the amount of business that you can get from this. You guys would be surprised. Like, seriously, I know
I sold hundreds of millions of dollars. I'll put it to you this way. That financial advisor introduced me to a DJ who became one of the top 5 in the world, who I sold $30 million worth of real estate to in a 9-month period.
Oh, jeez. And that's the thing. Most people they don't realize the way that this process works. It is so much less hard sales and pounding the pavement and picking up the phones as much as it is these deals just they'll end up coming to you because people like to do business with people they like.
Can I walk you through the process from the agent that's sitting in their office right now and not knowing any rich people to
Absolutely.
5 steps to getting rich people?
Please do. And I'm going to be taking notes.
Okay, so here's how it goes. The first part of this is the reverse cold call. That's step one. So you need to Google in your area, Google top financial advisors. Forbes comes out with a top 20 list in every one of your marketplaces. No one on it's going to be managing less than $1 billion in assets under management. It's a great list. It's a lot of rich people. Google top divorce attorneys. Google top accountants. Good to go, okay?
Okay.
Now, here's the call. Hey, this is Jason Abrams calling. I deal with luxury real estate. Hey, look, it's the craziest thing, but half of my clients are going to get divorced. And I don't know a good divorce attorney. Can I come in and spend 15 minutes and just learn a little bit about your business? That's it.
There you go.
They say, well, yeah, I guess. And I don't get caught with secretaries because I use the dial by name directory before 7 a.m. They're the ones in there working. And then they say, yeah, that'd be fine. And I say, okay, by the way, I'm going to be so fast. I'm going to be in and out of there in 15 minutes because I am slammed this time of year. I just want to be clear on that.
Right.
Yeah, no problem. Great. I call on Monday and Tuesday to set up appointments for Wednesday and Thursday. The goal is to set 4 appointments. That phone call is a really easy one because here's the naughty secret. They're supposed to be lead generating also on the other end of the phone. So when I call and say, I deal in luxury real estate, I have people I don't know. Can I come in and spend 15 minutes? They just say, sure, no problem.
Right.
Step 1's done. That's
Okay.
great. You're going to be doing 8 of those a week. It's easy.
Okay, awesome.
Here's the appointment itself. Here are the rules for the appointment. Rule number 1, you do not dress to the nines. You do not put on a 3-piece suit. You do not put on a name badge. You do not put on a tie clip or a lapel or anything in the shape of a flower.
Right.
That is inappropriate. You got to be cool. You got to be dressed, but you cannot look like you're going to get a loan or meeting your parole officer. Rule number 2, your cell phone stays in the car. I don't bring phones.
Okay.
Rule number 3, I'm not saying there's not a time and a place for business cards and name badges and bios and quiche recipes because realtors seem to love those. I'm saying this isn't the time. All of that, everything a realtor would do, you don't do any of it. You leave it. Great. That's it. Now you're ready to go on the appointment.
Okay, great.
Here's the entire script. The only way you can screw this up is if you ad lib, okay? Really easy. Here's how it goes. Thank you so much for meeting me. I really appreciate it. I was so looking forward to this. By the way, I only have 15 minutes. I'm absolutely slammed this time of year. I told you that over the phone. So I don't want to bore you with any information about me. Like, I'm just a residential real estate guy. We all know what they do. I'm just the best in the country at it, and I'm not going to go into details on that. I really need to understand you. And I don't need to know why or necessarily – I don't need to know how you do divorces or how you manage money because you're obviously really good at it. I do, though. I really want to know why you do it. You see, I'm a business owner just like you, and I find that once I know why people do things, I understand right away if there's someone that I can do business with.
Absolutely.
So why did you choose the law, and specifically, why divorces? And then that's it. Now, you have to be quiet for the next 13 minutes. If you talk, you ruin it. I've tried this. So when they say, well, here's what's going to happen. They're going to take you through their whole life story in 3 minutes. Well, I grew up in Boston. Everything was great. Went to the University of Michigan, got a law degree, moved out here to California. The rest is history. Okay, you can't get anything with that. That didn't tell you why anything. So what you have to say is, help me better understand the decision to leave New York and go to the University of Michigan.
Okay.
That's a lot different than I went to the University of Michigan also. We were kind of like frat brothers, even though we weren't in the same frat. What door were you in? It's not that.
Right.
Real cool. Tell me your thought process. Help me understand that. Ask follow-up question. What'd your mom think of that? Anybody who you ask that to will give you a 10-minute answer, okay? Keep them going for 15 minutes.
Right.
Once you get to the end of the 15 minutes, you say something like this. Wow, that's fascinating. You know, I know we just met and all. I see so many similarities kind of between our paths, even though they're different. To me, they kind of feel the same. It's interesting. Right. Now I really would like to know how you do what you do. Do you have any kind of write-up on the firm or write-up on you or anything like that? Now, at this point, they either have to turn around to get it or they have to get a secretary to get it. Something happens. Right. And at that point, I'm looking for something in the office that of personal interest. So maybe it's a Sierra Club mug because they like to hike, or maybe it's a set of golf clubs, or, you know, it's a poster of brown bears mating. It's not God, but whatever it's going to be, right? I make a mental note. They give me their stuff. I say, hey, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'm slammed this time of year. I got to run. I wish I could stay. Now they say right away, wait a minute, tell me a little bit about you. And I'm like, oh, I would love to. But I'm so pressed. Don't worry, I'll be in touch. And I leave. I get to the car. I brain dump everything. I write everything down, taking note of the item that I noticed of the personal nature. I then go on the next meetings. At the end of that day, here's step 3. I go to the bookstore. Get to the bookstore, and I go to the magazine rack, and I find a magazine that was on whatever their topic was. So, great magazine on brown bears mating. It's a rare read. I find it. I put a Post-it note on the front and says, hey, was reading this and thought of you. Check out page 64. I dog-ear page 64. I FedEx that to them because realtors use the mail, which means I'm going to use FedEx.
Okay.
There. I then wait a couple of days. Then I send an email. The email is questions on whatever they gave me. Hey, I was reading all your stuff. Here are my questions. And now this magical thing happens. They write back, hey, Jason, so great to hear from you. I would have called to thank you, but I didn't have any of your contact info. Thanks for the magazine. You're into brown bears mating also? I mean, this is weird. And we're off and we're running. And that ends that step. The next step is we become friends. And to me, a friend is someone who does what I want to do, when I want to do it, in the manner that I want it done. Those have been the most fulfilling relationships in my life.
Right.
I wish I could tell you that. I know that's a self-serving definition of a friend, but those are the ones I do the best with. Here, I'll give you an example.
Absolutely.
Like if I'm going to go to a sporting event, I know I'm going to go there in a limousine. I know I'm not going to deal with parking. I know I'm going to stay for no more than half of it. And I know that I'm going to be home before it ends so I can watch it on TV. That's just how I'm going to go to a sporting event. Right. You might not like going with me. But then again, you might say, that's how I would. Oh, my God. Like if I could go to a sporting event that way, I might go to more of them.
Right.
Yeah, I think you probably would.
Right.
How do I like to go to lunch? I like to go to lunch, and I like to earmark an hour to do it. I like to have an appetizer. I also know I'm going to have either a cocktail or a glass of wine doing it, and I don't want to be judged. I don't care if it's 8 a.m. or noon. That's how I like to eat. Now, you might say, Jason, that's not for me. Cool. But then you might say, oh, my God, that's how I like to go to lunch.
Right.
And all I'm doing is I'm inviting you to be a part of my life. I'm going to consistently invite you to do the things that I want to do, but I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do them. And you're either going to say yes or you're going to say no.
Right.
Those events have some rules. Number 1, I don't bring a phone anywhere. Number 2, I won't talk to you about residential real estate no matter what. So when we're golfing and you say, so Jason, you own a brokerage house, tell me about the market. I'm going to say, you know what? I'd love to do that. I would just like to do that with you back at the office. I come out here to not talk about that. And I'm golfing.
Right.
I'm not going to talk about resident. I'm not going to ask for a referral. I'm not even going to, and I'm not going to complain about the industry. I'm not going to talk about some mortgage monkey or an appraiser or anyone that's ruined my day or a title company or my admin. I'm never going to be like, oh my God, and they want a credit for the furnace and the furnace works. Like, I'm not going to do that. We're just going to have a great time. And I'm going to do that for 90 days. And here's the last step in the program. At the end of the 90 days, I call it the litmus test. Good luck spelling that, my friend. I am going to
I think I got it.
I am simply going to say to myself, I'm going to say self, am I friends with that person? Like, do I have the kind of friendship at this point where I could call up and say, look, we're buddies, right? And they would say, yeah. And I'd say, well, I'm the best realtor on the planet. You know it. How come you never sent me a deal?
Right.
I would be able to say that to any friend of mine. And then they're going to say what they always say, which is, I already got a guy. And I'm going to say, everyone's got a guy. I'm not a guy. I'm your friend.
Right.
How about you send me the worst deal on your desk? How about you give me the worst pile of S that anyone's ever – how about you send me the deal that you can't send your guy that you could only send your friend? Right. And find out what makes me so damn good.
That's perfect.
And that's it. And the system is over and everything is closed. And then I get a deal and then I give better service than anybody else because I still believe real estate is based on service.
Absolutely.
And the whole thing starts over again. And I'm not looking for 800 friends. I'm looking for 2 friends a year. And I'm going to interview 8 people a week to find them.
Wow. Wow. That is so powerful. And guys, if anybody listening, if you guys missed that process. So step one, and here, I'm going to take this one off while I'm going through it. But so step one was the reverse cold call. You're basically saying you want to find out about their business. That's kind of the crux of it, right? Step two is the appointment. The appointment, you're going to go in. You're basically going to do what you said. You're going to ask about their business. Find out about their business. You're not even going to talk about your own business.
That's the only way you screw it up.
Right? And while you're there, you're going to use that time to find something that they care about, something that they like, some way to connect with them, right? So then step three, after the appointment, you're going to go out, you're going to find a way to relate to them. Bookstore is what you recommended, book, magazine, something like that, where you can then send it to them. You're going to then send that to them. You're going to email them questions on their business as well. And then after that, after they respond and you start talking, the next step is to become friends. And that process is, again, like you said, doing things you like to do in the way you like to do it with these people, right? And the reality, so just like you mentioned, so there's a process to this, right? There's a bit of a culling process. Not everybody that you do these initial appointments with is going to become your friend, because not everybody's going to want to do what you want to do. Yeah, go ahead.
The vast majority are not going to become my friend. Like
right.
and by the way, I kind of think that was what my high school experience was like too. Like
right.
I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say the vast majority of women were impervious to my charms. It was okay. I needed to only find a few, and I did.
Right. Absolutely. And so then after you become friends, you've got a friend now, and the test is how much are they actually your friend? And you do the litmus test, and the litmus test is, hey, we're friends, right? Why haven't you sent me a deal? And just like you mentioned, go ahead.
If I say to myself, could I ask that of somebody? And the answer is no. It would feel weird. I just defriend that person. I just stop calling them. And that's okay. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It's so strange. I just joined the face pages, my friend. And I got to tell you, people get weird when you defriend them. It's the strangest thing. Like, I'll defriend some. I won't do it anymore because I've turned out I'm ruining people's lives. But I defriended a bunch of people, and they started calling me, and they said, "Bro, we got beef," and I was like, "No, what do you mean?" And they were like, "Well, you defriended me," and I was like, "I didn't. We weren't communicating over the direct message at all. You weren't enriching my life. I didn't think I was enriching yours. I understand you're happy with your cat. I was done with the photos. You mean you still wanted to be friends?" And in Facebook, it's weird, but in real life, that's exactly the organic maturation of either friendships or not, where we just simply defriend people, and I celebrate it, and I think it's really healthy.
Yeah, and I'm completely with you. I mean, the reality is you find the people that you like spending your time with, and you spend time with them, right? Like that's the way that it works. And yeah, you're the whole Facebook dynamic is kind of interesting.
I was like, bro, we can be friends again. I didn't
know. Right? Absolutely, man. That by itself, guys. We've got some more stuff, and I'm going to ask you a couple of more questions before we wrap up here. But
we got to my friend. I got to catch a plane.
Awesome. So that was some powerful information, guys. As we're wrapping up, as we're finishing up. First off, Jason, where should people reach out to you? Where should people connect with you if they got referrals, if they want to send you business,
even if you just want to talk and you want to talk real estate, you're looking for a coach or you're looking for something. iwantabreakthroughnow.com. If you go to iwantabreakthroughnow.com. That links directly to my calendar. Now, let me just be clear on this. I'm not trying to big time any of you guys. I'm not saying that I have this website. It's about break. All I'm saying is I needed a way to get people linked to my calendar. This is the best way to do it. So if you want to get together and you want to chat, that's the best way to find me. And I want to tell you, I want to expand your mind for a second. Consider this. Consider that the model I just described works great in the town you live in.
Right.
Now, I remember when I was younger and I was doing it where I was living, and I ran out of attorneys and financial advisors. Like, it got weird because I was going to Morgan Stanley had 600 financial advisors, and I was hiding around corners, so ones I met with the week before didn't notice me.
Right.
It's weird. How many times can you call and say, I don't know any advisors? So I simply was like, where would be a good place to expand? Now, I was thinking about this when I was 23, so there were different motivations driving it. I picked Miami, South Beach for natural reasons. And I would simply call into South Beach on Monday and Tuesday. I'd fly there Wednesday night. I'd do appointments Thursday and Friday, and I'd party crazy Friday night, Saturday, and take the red eye back to Detroit on Sunday. This is the most scalable model that there is, and there's a moat around it because I don't care what Zillow does. I don't care what Notepad does. I don't care what Century 21 or Keller Williams does. Nothing will ever replace a personal relationship based on shared interest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every day. And exactly to your point, we didn't dive in and talk about this side of it, but even on the end of, if you're not doing the practice model, but you're doing the working leads, making calls, when you're talking to people for 18 months before they're ready to do the transaction, that's essentially in a way, a smaller version of doing the same thing, right? You're building up that relationship.
Well, I think the biggest, people that are calling on internet leads, I think all of our agents should be doing what I just described, but in the morning, they should be cold calling and talking to internet leads because I think that creates the bridge to get you to the place where you really want to be.
Right.
And agents are under the assumption that they're leads, and they're not. They're people, my man. These are people with fears and life events happening, and when you feed their soul, they will feed your pocketbook. And just because they registered as Mickey Mouse with a phone number, it doesn't mean that they don't care about you. I sell a lot of homes to Mickey Mouse over the course of the year because at some point I find out their real name is Donald. And we end up doing business. And if you care about them and you act like you do, there's this idea prevalent in American society that the event is what counts. And I'm here to tell you, I think that the relationship is the conversation. You see, when you go on a date with somebody, I don't think it's the movie that matters. I think it's the discussion on the way to the movie. Like I think about all the date nights that I've ruined with my wife, and I find date nights difficult because there's no listing presentation involved. But you go, and I think about the ones that I've ruined are the ones where I actually paid less attention to the drive and the conversation on the way to the movie, and then the drive and the conversation on the way back.
Absolutely.
And was someone trying to hold your hand during it, and were you open to that?
Right.
It's the conversation that is the relationship. It's not the other way around.
Right. Right. Jason Abrams dropping not only some business knowledge bombs here, but dropping some great life lessons as well. This has been some fantastic stuff. Hey, Jason, do you have a couple of minutes to stay on if we have any questions, or do you got to get going?
I got 2 minutes. I got this in at 5:15 with a 6:30 flight.
Sounds good. So, hey, guys, if you have any questions, we've just got a couple of minutes before Jason has got to jet. So if you have any questions, get them in below. Otherwise, either way, make sure to check it out. iwanttabreakthroughnow.com. I've got that up on the screen. I dropped a comment. You can click to it and get onto Jason's calendar. Start potentially building that relationship with Jason, right? So great stuff, man. Thanks so much for coming on. Thanks so much for the information. It was super powerful. And guys, I don't know if you realize this, but we tapped into probably just an iceberg of the value that Jason has here, right? Like in terms of the information.
That, man. It's an honor to be asked to do something like this. I mean, there's a lot of people in the industry, Zach, that are talking about what you're doing here and your viewers. And I know that you have Kevin Kaufman coming on, and I got to tell you, I don't know. I can't imagine having access to the type of people that you do. I'm honored to be part of that group on the fringe of it. But to have this kind of people who are willing to give you this kind of time and who are willing to give their secrets and then to not take advantage of it in the industry.
Right.
This is the kind of stuff that 10 and 15 years ago, I was paying $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 to get in front of a guy like Brett Tanner for 10 minutes. Like you were paying $4,000 to get 4 hours.
Right.
By the way, that was like if you decided you were worthy to do it. Like he was like, well, let me ask you this. Send me over your credit report. And you would be like, okay, I hope he approves it. Oh, my God. And now to have guys like that this open about what they're doing. You're changing the industry, Zach.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And honestly, it really goes back to the same thing as what you're talking about, right? Like this for me, this is something I enjoy doing. I enjoy talking to people and getting this information and putting that back out into the real estate community and helping everybody to grow their business. Because the reality is the more successful real estate agents are, the more successful I end up being too, right? So it's so powerful. So it looks like we don't have any questions coming in right now. There might be some questions that come in after the live show.
do I take this personally? Like next week, is Kaufman going to have more viewers and more? I don't know what I'll do with myself, man. I'll have to tell HGTV they were wrong.
You know what, guys? So this is one of the things that we see. A lot of people get busy, time of day, issues with that. We see a lot of people hop in after the fact, a lot of the views after the fact. So anybody watching this, if you're watching the replay, make sure to drop some comments, give Jason some love for all the value that he just brought.
You guys don't realize.
Make sure he knows.
I'm going to lay awake at night and wonder, and the self-esteem will plummet. I'm counting on some thumbs up here. Just drive by and do one of those.
So our goal, our mission, if you're watching this now, you got to share it, you got to like it, you got to comment to make sure that Jason gets the all due respect and value for what he just brought, what he just delivered.
I mean, I did just give away the entire business model that's made me moderately well. I just handed it over. So I wish everybody luck.
So awesome. Thanks again, Jason, for coming on. Hey, if you have anybody else that you think would be a good fit for this, that would be a good fit to come on and help give back to the real estate community too, I would love to meet them. I'd love to bring them on. If you have anybody like that, feel free to let me know. And
I'll tell you, man, there's a handful of people that have changed my life, and Gary Keller is one of them. I've been lucky.
Absolutely.
Coach directly with him. The other one's a guy named Brian Gubernick.
Awesome.
I Brian, and I don't know if he's been on your show, but like Brian took my practice and he turned it into a worldwide business. And I think he's probably got the biggest brain of anyone in our industry today. So if you haven't had him on here, you better get him on soon.
Absolutely. I will definitely reach out to Brian, and we do. We've done some business together too. So I will happily reach out to Brian as well.
All right, man. Well, hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Jason, for coming on. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the show. Jason, have a safe flight. And so guys, if you didn't already, make sure you like, you comment, you share. We want to make sure to give Jason as much value for the value that he just brought us. That was a fantastic Facebook Live. If you missed it, go back, rewatch it. Seriously, amazing strategy, how you can tap into the network of millionaires, the amount of business that you can get by creating relationships with people who you can not only do a ton of business, you can be doing it in a way that you love, that you enjoy, making your time worthwhile. Oh man, so much power there. If you guys haven't already, iwanttabreakthroughnow.com. That was Jason's site for you to be able to get on his calendar to get some more information about what Jason is doing, how he's impacting the real estate world. So if you guys like that content, again, drop a comment below. I see we've got one from Donald here. Donald said that was amazing. Thanks, Zach and Jason. I'm having trouble removing the brown bears mating visual though. Yeah, I'm with you. That was a great way to make the point on some of what people can potentially have as an interest there. Guys, one last thing before I let you go. One of the things that I know that real estate agents struggle with is they struggle with that process after you've started building the relationship, especially. So we talked today a lot about the practice style real estate business. That's what Jason brought to us. If you have the style of business where you're trying to generate leads, where you're working expireds, where you're working those FSBOs, where you're trying to attract buyers, all that kind of stuff. One of the things that I've seen people struggle with is that process of what it looks like to process that business. And so I actually put together a free course that you can get access to today. That course is called Ultimate Lead Machine. What that course is we talk about that process of exactly how you follow up with people. If you want that course, you can get it free today. All you got to do is drop a comment down in the description that says lead tips, LEAD-TIPS. Let me go ahead and throw that up on the screen real quick. Here we go. So say lead tips in the comments and we can send you that course right now. Our team will reach out to you. We'll tell you how you can get it. If you're listening to this on the podcast, then all you got to do is send a text message with the message lead tips, LEAD-TIPS, one word to 444-999. That's lead tips to 444-999. If you guys aren't already set up to be notified of the next episode, you'll want to do that as well. As Jason mentioned, we've got Kevin Kaufman coming on. Kevin's going to have some fantastic information for us as well. And you just heard from Jason as well. We've got some other people that we can be reaching out to and getting onto this show to give you guys some fantastic value. What you got to do is you got to drop a comment below that says notify, and my team will reach out to you and tell you how you can get on a notification list so that you don't have to miss any of these episodes coming out. So again, it looks like we don't have any more questions, any more information coming in. So I'm going to go ahead and call that show a wrap. Thank you for everybody coming out. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on the replay, thank you for watching live. Thank you for your interaction. I'm so grateful to be able to bring this information, to interact with some of these people with you, and let you sit in on those conversations. So thanks so much. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Growth Hacker Show. Remember, done is better than perfect. To turn the marketing ideas and tactics you just learned into real growth for your real estate business, visit us at realestategrowthhackers.com. If you like this episode, consider sharing it with another real estate professional who could benefit from the information. Or maybe you'd like to subscribe to the show to never miss an episode. And you can leave a rating or review on iTunes with your biggest takeaway, helping this show to reach and help more people just like you. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next episode.